Hello and welcome to a new episode. Today we're going to talk about another value, love. Why it's important to do what we love to do and how to change if we are doing something that we don't love. Stay with us and find out more. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to another episode about values. Podcast Values the Vibes is here for you with my two favorite guests, Louisa and Tia. We're going to talk about love. Louisa, can you tell us the definition?
Tia's not feeling the love right now.
Not feeling the love. I was really feeling my lentils before we got into this. But let's talk about love.
Okay, love, to act with adoration and devotion.
So you can see that's interesting because love is, our immediate thought is almost, we go back to that intimacy thing we do, I think that first thinking is, am I in love? Am I going to fall in love? It's my partner. But love is so much greater than that. And it encapsulates so many of the values, like cluster values. I mean, love is into kindness and compassion, and love is you can be a person who just spread loves in your daily interaction with people. I mean, what does the definition we have again, Louisa?
So it's to act with adoration and devotion.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. It's the love of your faith, the love of God, the love of your friends. It's just God, it's just such an all-encompassing word.
You make a really good point though, and one I probably didn't go to straight away is when you're younger, you think like, okay, I'm gonna have one true love that I'm gonna marry and have kids. That becomes a thought from a lot of people, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people, like maybe me, I was thinking, there'll be that one big person. But actually, when I looked at the card just now, it made me feel very satisfied knowing that, for example, I have so much adoration and devotion from my parents, and but in particular, my dad and I are very close, and my friends always laugh because I went to a private school, so they make you do a lot of work and they structure your day and everything like that. And a lot of the girls that I went to school with, their parents would be like, right, you need to study this, you need to do that. And my dad, half the time, being born in Sweden and he went to high school in the US, doesn't really know the UK school system. And they always laugh. They're like, you could literally pick your nose and have a bogey and show your dad, and he'd be like, wow, Louisa, you are fantastic. You are the best. Like, you are. And he is like that. He is a real giver of adoration and pure devotion for his children. So I feel very lucky that I get that.
Yeah, well, that's unconditional love. And
Yeah.
I think that's the greatest love there is. The greatest statement I probably made is, you know what? I love you, but I really don't like you right now. And I think that can be the same for spouse. You know what I mean? Like when there's that like kind of a deep love, but especially for your children, because they're part of you. You know what I mean? That their blood that's running through you. You have that love for them. But that's why, and I also feel like too, the greatest thing about the word love is it's so close to hate. And when my children were young, they'd be like, well, I hate her. And I'd be like, well, you really can't hate anything you don't love. And if you don't, so you have to really love something to hate it, because love is a very strong feeling, as is hate. So I think that in order to teach people not to hate, you have to really understand that I think the only way to truly hate is to deeply love something, because it is just the absolute inverse of love. So I think maybe you strongly dislike, and maybe that person isn't like for you, or maybe you just don't really, like the taste of the lentils that I want to have for lunch today. But that doesn't evoke love or hate. You know what I mean? Those are big words. They have a lot of meaning.
And to different people. Sorry,
but everybody who is speaking about love, they're speaking about like marriage and who is gonna be my soulmate and everything. But there is love everywhere, like whatever you mentioned, like love in religion, love your parents, love between friends, love what you love to do. Also, like what is your hobby, what is like something that is only interesting for you. But I think also if you're coming from state of mind like from love, you're gonna always have empathy. You're gonna always find the reason for somebody else to understand that why he did that to me or whatever. You're gonna understand easily. So I think love is also love is patient. You need to be
and love is kind. Love is patient. Love is kind.
Yeah. So
yeah.
love is a fifth element, like in that movie with Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
If it's coming from love, it's easier. You're gonna find a way. You're gonna have strength, power, and everything. You know, like.
I mean, I guess I think the thing that I find about love is I feel like it's one of those very transcendent and kind of ethereal notions sometimes, because I think sometimes you can just meet a person and in their eyes you can feel and see love. And I think those are very special people, and those are probably the people that are really out, like the Mother Teresas and maybe the Gandhis and like people like political figures who've really moved masses and really shown people the way. I think some people have such a loving way about them that people easily follow them or they want to be around them. And I think that's why sometimes people can be taken in for deceivers of love, like people who have cults or people want to control other people's minds. I think people who don't have a lot of love sometimes feel, oh, they love me, they care about me. So I think that love can be, weaponized sometimes as well for people to get what they want or need when they really aren't really doing something for a loving purpose.
Also, I think
Yeah.
you make a difference between, do you want to love somebody or you want to be loved? Because people are mixing that. Whenever I speak with somebody, they're like, I want to get married, I want to be loved. And I said, okay, but I think love need to come from you first, and then you can expect to be loved. But like, whereas also I love to love people. If you ask me, I love to love them. I would give them so many things that they don't even have because I love them. Like they're like,
Yeah.
oh, and everybody's asking me, why you hang out with that person? I'm like, I love that person. It's fun. It's it's love. It's easy to love that person. It's always smiling, nice energy, and everything. Yeah, maybe he or she doesn't have so many good things about themselves, but they're really easy to love. And I think sometimes we just want to spend time with people who we love to love people also. Like it gives us the expression like I'm feeling like really, really good, like energy. I have like I say butterfly in my stomach. Why is that? That's amazing feeling. I love to have that feeling. I love to love.
Well, and it's kind of truly, it's a little bit like happiness in a sense, because it's got that kind of that strange word that I can never pronounce, Pygmalion, that trickle down effect. If you're a person who loves life and loves what they're doing and is living in the moment, that's contagious. That people feel that love and they start to feel that and they start to feel better and like, wow, there's nothing better than being in a loving, warm home. Like if you're a child who, maybe you don't see your parents a lot, maybe they both work full time or whether that's comfortable sometimes to be able to, or you're even an only child. And so you get to go to this home and there might be a lot of fighting, like fighting, screaming, yelling, impatience that we just talked about, but it doesn't mean that sometimes that's even more love. And those, you know what I mean? Because people care and there's a reason to argue and there's a reason to fight. And there's like, they care. I mean, like love's a really hard thing to give. It kind of lives up there. That's why I feel like it's somewhat transcendent, a little bit like happiness. It's not really, to me, it's almost a state of mind and a state of being to love.
I think it breaks barriers. It connects people. It's again, I can't remember what value we spoke about recently, but I was saying that you don't have to speak the same language. It's something that you can see in someone and feel in someone. And I think love is one of them. And it sits in global vision because it's about that wider impact. Let's make the world a better place. Let's look at the impact on my team, my organization, and my organization's impact on the world, for example, in a business context, as well as loving my other half or whatever. But I always think one of my favorite films ever, I'm obsessed, is Moulin Rouge. And they sing at the end, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. And I love that line in that film. As soon as we were doing this, it made me remember it.
It kind of says it all.
Yeah.
It says it all.
Yeah. And it speaks to Milena's point, you've got to also, you can act with adoration and devotion, but getting that back as well. Maybe it's one that you want to reciprocate or want to have reciprocated a little bit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, listen, there's no better sense of security than a child who feels loved. You know, feels loved, because love comes back to what Milena's most important value is, which is safety. You know what I mean? If you can feel safe, and that's why, like, you know, if you're going to talk about films, I don't remember it. I feel like it was a Tom Cruise movie, and it was some kind of, like, maybe there was cheating, and I don't remember, but the problem when people betray other people, especially people you love, is it takes away that safe space for you. That's the one space that people often think in their intimate relationships, the intimate partners, like a loving intimate relationship, a marriage, a partnership, whatever it might be. When that safety is taken away, I think that's really feels like rejection and a lack of love. And that's painful. Like, or even unrequited love, right? People, when you've like, when you're young as a teenager and you really feel like you're in love with this boy and he breaks your heart. I mean, that's heartbreak in love are some of the first major things we go through as young teenagers, when we're first kind of testing those grounds of you know, dating or having relationships or whatever it may be, is that first feeling. I mean, truly, there is a syndrome called the broken heart syndrome. And it's an actual medical condition. People don't think it is, but it actually is. When, like, you often see, that's why when people have been with one spouse for 50, 75 years, one dies, and even if the other one is healthy, they soon die quickly thereafter because of broken heart syndrome. And doctors, cardiologists have studied it. And I think that when people have really had their hearts broken, especially amid long marriages and long relationships, it physically makes them ill to have your heart broken, and to have that love feel like it's been, you know, destroyed, and can it be repaired? You know what I mean? I think I love this. There's a Pink song. We're not broken, we're just bent is one of the lines.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think of, you know what I mean? I mean, and if it's enduring love, I think with a partner, with a family member, I think that can be repaired, because I think love has just, the depth of it is so deep. I mean, it takes effort. But
it's so deep. And because you saying that makes me think of, you know, if you love something, you have to let it go. And it makes me think, I remember leaving home to go to university, and my mum, you know, that's a love. That doesn't have to be a relationship. You know, let me go, grow up, spread. I don't think, thinking of songs, there's this song, I'm a massive Miley Cyrus fan, you know, basically same age, grew up with her, but her dad, Billy Ray Cyrus, and her did a song, and it's about, you know, her growing up and leaving, and he sings
I know
part, like, I really don't want you to go, but I know you have to spread your wings and go. And I honestly, it makes me really emotional, because that is that adoration, that devotion, like, I've got you where you are, and now it's your time to go and sing. And that
kind of country music does it best.
Oh yeah,
that is. I mean,
we were talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah, I do think
Wait,
that
you
country
showed me
music.
that song, Tia. What was the song you showed me? Was it Kenny Chesney? And it was about his daughter.
Oh yeah, and like, really, like, he had this child like early in life, and he's basically, my life's over. But you know what I mean? But I have this baby girl, and even though he's like 18, he realized that his life was just beginning. Like, maybe the life that he thought that he loved was over, but this love for this child, and it's just, and then the song follows her then going away to California, which is what he always wanted to do, but his girlfriend got pregnant. And I think that love is truly, I mean, it's what connects us. I mean, like, you know, Milena's sitting back in her home in Belgrade, Serbia, and, you know, where we connect from all over the world. And I think that we often talk about the world being, even though we're so connected, we become so disconnected because of, like, it seems like you know, we're so close because we can talk, we can Zoom. But I do believe that the best part of technology and Zoom technology and Google Meets and all these things that the pandemic brought about is you can feel very close to people that you love, even though they're not in your everyday life the way that maybe they once were, you know.
As somebody who got reported, and I saw that in Final 8 it was love,
Yeah.
I can speak about love, about of course heartbroken things. I can speak about like experiencing that you were loved and now you're not loved. Also, I can feel it, but honestly, also when we spoke about forgiveness and everything, everything is come from love. You know, for me, love is really important. If I want to forgive you, I need to find you know, like at least a small amount of love just to forgive you for myself. Also when I'm doing something, I need to love what I'm doing, because if I don't like that, I'm like doing like, you know, like whatever. So for me everything is around love, even when I'm cooking, even when I'm hosting people, even when I want to buy a present. Everything is come from love. If I choose you to love, if I don't like
Yeah.
you are blocked, you don't exist. Really, really. So
One way or the other.
no, I'm just like, okay, next, I need space for this my person so I can love, you know, like, I'm okay with that. So
I mean, I think that's honest, and I think that's good. I think because if we try to spread ourselves too thin with our love, we often maybe aren't going to receive it back in the same way. I mean, I think there's some people, like I said, those types that they give up everything they have and they own, and they literally lead to help others. And so love is at the primary source of them, you know?
but I was always thinking, Tia, what do you think? Do they have like value of empathy or love when they
Well,
just decide I'm going to help some other people who I don't know? What do you think? What is
yeah,
like?
it's interesting. I think it's love because I think it's greater than empathy. Because I think that goes to like when you were describing how everything you do you enjoy because you're doing it with love. I think that describes meaning and purpose. And I think
Love is the
that
drive.
yeah,
The
love
love
is
is
your
the
drive
driver.
to get there. And I think that I do think those people have great empathy and compassion
Okay,
and kindness. But I think at the root of all of that, if they're going to give up kind of everything else in their life just to do for others, that has to come from a great source of love. You know, I think, you know, and I don't know that. That's just what I surmise.
maybe
I
maybe they're gonna have podcast values and vibes.
Maybe, maybe.
I want to just to get technical for a second, just to show for me the power of the model, and to show it to everybody else. Love is one that I discarded in round 2, both times I've done it, which is interesting because when I have my people and I act with love, I feel like I do that. But I understand I was probably looking at not love. When we look at the blockers in our model, we have blockers that block the values, which we talk about a lot in this podcast. But we also have blockers that support a value. So they can help bring that value to the surface without you knowing. So the shoulder blocker is when we prioritize others' needs over our own. I have that, and that supports love. And I know that when my friends are in need, I am in my car driving to them. I am helping them. If it whatever it is, whatever they need from me. They all said, all my best girlfriends say to me, "You're my 2 a.m. call. I know you can come to me." So I think I show my love through the productive
Yes,
side
you're
of the
for
blocker.
sure, for sure. And that's probably why you don't choose it. Because you
Exactly.
just assume it. And I think
Yeah.
if people, I think that it either is highlighted because it's just so evident in your daily life, but like the way Milena's highlighted it, because everything that she engages in, she's really not going to do things that she doesn't love. And so that fulfills her. I think for you, it's more dutiful in a sense. That's who, like, you know what I
100%.
mean?
And that's how I would describe myself. You know, I need to help, and in that way, if I was coaching myself, which we are all our own best coaches anyway, how can I actually show more adoration and devotion on a day-to-day? How can I put that more in the front of my life so I'm not just doing that when push comes to shove, or when there's a trigger, or when shoulder comes out for me, so that I can use it more productively in my life.
But
I agree.
Also, your like main value is kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. For me, those are like, that's one of mine, kindness, courage, and
But for me,
Yes.
kindness is more to, perhaps in my experience of my value set, kindness is to everybody, and I can show kindness to a stranger. I'm not the kind of person who might show love to a stranger or love to people who are more kind of acquaintances.
I wonder, I think for sure, I gotta believe, I don't remember, I can't remember my sorts, but I think that love is
Your love, I just looked, your love is in round 5 for when we did it.
big.
Yeah, we did it again recently though, and I can't find that data, but the one you did when you and I did it first a year ago was love was in your top 5. Let me find your recent one, but carry on. But
Yeah.
yours
I
is in your
don't know.
5.
I think that it's, I just like I like the word love. I like having love run through, like, I like love songs. Like the kids, my daughters always tease me that I like sad music, and I don't really consider it sad. I consider it to be like uplifting in a sense, because I think that
of course, with meaning songs, not like.
I mean, think about it. Like the reason why, like when we were going, trying to make it part of spirituality, go back, to go to church and at least practice your faith or whatever it might be, the synagogue, the mosque, whatever it is. I feel love in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That there's the community. Yeah. So I don't know. I think love is just one of those words. We're good.
So
Yeah.
just a quick one. Your latest one, love, is in round 3, but it's the last one, so it just missed out on your top 2 rounds essentially, which is
interesting.
But maybe, I don't know, because I agree with you that I'm the kind of person I can get like a lump in my throat when I listen to a song, like a love song, but normally when it's about someone passing away. It's a lovely Luke Combs song when he talks about his dad and when the dad passes away, and those are the kind of things that really show. I think for me, I've built up a heroic love in my head. So for me, love is big acts, and it's a small group of people, and that's how I show it. So maybe kindness is one I can give more to the world around me, and love is one where it becomes a bit more unique. And whether that's right or wrong, I think that's how I would describe it coming out for me.
No, I think that's a good way to describe it, because it's like small acts of kindness in your daily behavior is an act of love.
But
so
yeah,
I think that's,
but when you're now speaking like when you're like make combination of like 2 values from global vision, mine was like generosity and love. And for me,
right.
really showing your love is to host you. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna host you, I'm gonna feed you, I'm gonna
Yeah,
give
and that's kind of me. I agree. I agree with that. That's why I love to like over bake and over like that's the show of, and that's cultural, I think too. I mean, that's ethnicity. I think the ethnic cultures, they definitely show their love via food. So it's every single meal is 6 hours long, and
yeah, I never thought about that when you make a combination when you explain.
Yeah, Mediterraneans, like think about it. Like you go to lunch and then you're going to dinner already after a 6-hour lunch.
But it's also an ad. It's
hungry.
I mean, you just said you love baking. We use that word. I love cherry tomatoes. To a point, I probably have an obsession with it.
Yeah.
So we've used it as a word, and I'm not saying that I act with adoration and devotion to cherry tomatoes, but what I'm saying is that it's such a powerful word that we use it to show people like that's an extreme like and desire for
That's
this.
right. Well, exactly. It's like we've colloquialized in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's like the thing is that, and that's why when your children are talking about, I hate her, like my teacher, and you're like, you can't hate her because you don't know her well enough. You don't even love her. You like her. She's, you know what I mean? You can't hate something you don't love. So it's just, I mean, that's a strong feeling, hatred. And I just think that love's a strong feeling. So I do think we use it kind of flippantly to love cherry tomatoes or love chocolate. But I think that it just, the word evokes just so many meanings and so many purposes.
But of course, last question, we need to, if you like recommendation, if you want, what can somebody do if he doesn't love what he's doing and it's 8 hours? I'm talking about work. How he or she can help herself to start to love that work, because maybe it's well paid, or maybe it's good for their career. Maybe he's not surrounded with people who are love. For me, it's easy. I'm not staying there, but somebody feels stuck. how can easily
They have,
start?
they have 5 children and a sick spouse. I think that that's the whole purpose of our model. If you can derive some happiness outside of your work and do the things that you love, even if you can't change your job, I say that to people, you're going to come to work happier. And then you're going to start to enjoy the people around you that you're working with. You might still hate the work, but if you come to work happier, you're going to produce more. You're going to be more interactive with those around you. You're going to whistle while you work. Kind of like it's exactly what you said, I think, in the last podcast we did, when you were picking with patience, picking the beans out of the box. After, I mean, it was awful and mind numbing the first 5-10 minutes, but 20 minutes in, it was okay. You know what I mean? Because like it brought you some kind of like peace. It was relaxing. I mean, I think that there's not, you could find yourself and leave your job. I agree with you, but that's not always possible. So find yourself outside of your job and then come to work in a better state. And I think it'll change things for you. You'll be happier, feel more loved.
Yeah. Louisa, do you have anything to add?
I would look at what your career goals are. What are you trying to get from this job? And a goal is one thing. That's the kind of flag you're getting to, but values are going to help you in how you get there. So once you assess that, where am I going? Can I, using a model like Revaluate, look at what's important to me. Can I start to utilize this on my way to this goal? If we are going to remain in that career, how can I bring...
Can I job craft a little bit? Maybe I could go, like, I like what this guy is doing in the other department. Maybe I can get to know him if I have a good attitude and I come to work happier, or maybe help out in some way. That's a good point. And that is
so can I put that into my life? If I look at friends at the moment who don't love their job, they don't have any love for it. In fact, they pretty much hate it. On one hand, you have the individuals who have no further to climb. They've skilled themselves out and they know that they've hit that barrier and they need to go somewhere else because there's no upward progression in their learning. That's one thing. Maybe there is a shift that needs to happen if you can't learn anything more than everything you took from that role. And then there's people who are burnt out and disengaged and miserable, and I'm talking lawyers that I know, etc. They're the ones where I would do this. What are your career goals and can we get there? Or can we look at your value system and what's actually important to you? And if you can't quit this job, how can we get some happiness out of your day? How can we work with you to give you those nuggets of purpose and why the hell you got out of bed in the morning to go into that job?
Solution for everything. There's a solution. You can figure it out. It may take a little planning, but definitely I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I just need to say that this is one part of my job and I love what I'm doing. And thank you so much for sharing my love, spreading the word of love, because I think this is...
I mean, and thank you for just even starting this to begin with, because each day when you think, oh, can I do the podcast today? Even though I was starving heading into this one, I put it aside.
You loved it. You loved it.
And Eric gave me till 1:11. It's perfect. Anyways, love you guys. I'm gonna go eat now. Bye.
Love you so much. Thank you so much. Bye.
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 Bye.